darling, I have to leave you now. Yes, I have things to do, okay? Yes, very important things, yes. No, I don't need to sit with you, no. You hear that? Important things. Many of them. You're just eating, darling. You don't need me to sit there and watch you eat, okay? All right? Yes, I love you too, sweetheart. Oh, dear God. Right. Oh, I am gratified by your reference, and this is my advice, that you come to town yourself without loss of time, but that you leave Frederica behind. It would surely be much more to the purpose to get yourself well established and marry Mr. de Courcy than to irate him and the rest of his family by making her marry Sir James. You should think more of yourself and less of your daughter. She is not of the disposition to do you credit in the world, and seems precisely in her proper place at Churchill with the Vernons. But you are fitted for society, and it is shameful to have you exiled from it. Leave Frederica, therefore, to punish herself for the plague she has given you, by indulging in that romantic tender-heartedness which will always ensure her misery enough, and come to London as soon as you can. I have another reason for urging this. Mainwaring came to town last week and has contrived, in spite of Mr. Johnson, to make you opportunities of seeing me. He is absolutely miserable about you and jealous to such a degree of de Courcy that it would be highly unadvisable for them to meet at present. And yet, if you do not allow him to see you here, I cannot answer for his not committing some great imprudence, such as going to Churchill, for instance, which would be dreadful. Besides, if you take my advice and resolve to marry de Courcy, it will be indispensably necessary to you to get Mainwaring out of the way, and you only can have influence enough to send him back to his wife. Oh, I still have another reason, another motive for your coming. Mr. Johnson leaves London next Tuesday, and he is going for his health to Bath, where, if the waters are favourable to his constitution and my wishes, he will be laid up with the gout for many weeks. During his absence, we shall be able to choose our own society, and to have true enjoyment. I would ask you to Edward Street, but once he forced me some kind of promise never to invite you to my house. Nothing but my being in the utmost distress for money should have extorted it from me. I can get you, though, however, a nice drawing-room apartment in the Upper Seymour Street, and we may be always together here or there, for I consider my promise to Mr. Johnson as comprehending only, at least in his absence, you're not sleeping in the house. Poor Mainwaring gives me such histories of his wife's jealousy. Silly woman to expect consistency from so charming a man. But she always was silly. Intolerably so in marrying him at all. She, the heiress of a large fortune, and he without a shilling. One title, I know, she might have had, besides baronets. Her folly in forming the connection was so great that though Mr. Johnson was her guardian, I do not in general share his feelings. I can never forgive her. Adieu. Yours ever, Alicia.
This letter, my dear mother, will be brought to you by Reginald. His long visit is about to be concluded at last, but I fear the separation takes place too late to do us any good. She is going to London to see her particular friend, Mrs. Johnson. It was first her intention that Frederica should accompany her for the benefit of masters, but we overruled her there. Frederica was wretched in the idea of going, and I could not bear to have her at the mercy of her mother. Not all the masters in London could compensate for the ruin of her comfort. I should have feared, too, for her health, and for everything. But her principles. There, I believe, she is not to be injured by her mother, or her mother's friends, but with those friends she must have mixed a very bad set, I doubt not. Or have been left in total solitude, and I can hardly tell which would have been worse for her. If she is with her mother, moreover, she must, alas, be in all probability with Reginald, and that would be the greatest evil of all. Here we shall in time be in peace, and our regular employments, our books and conversations, with exercise, the children, and every domestic pleasure in my power to procure her will, I trust, gradually overcome this youthful attachment. I should not have a doubt of it, were she slighted for any other woman in the world than her own mother. How long Lady Susan will be in town, or whether she returns here again, I know not. I could not be cordial in my invitation, but if she chooses to come, no want of cordiality on my part will keep her away. I could not help asking Reginald if he intended on being in London this winter, as soon as I found her ladyship's steps would be bent thither, and though he professed himself quite undetermined, there was something in his look and voice as he spoke which contradicted his words. I have done with lamentation. I look upon the event as so far decided that I resign myself to it in despair. If he leaves you soon for London, everything will be concluded. Your affectionate, etc., Catherine. I don't want to think about it.
My dearest friend, I write you in the greatest distress. The most unfortunate event has just taken place. Mr. Johnson has hit the most effectual manner of plaguing us all. He had heard, I imagine, by some means or other, that you would soon be in London, and immediately contrived such an attack of the gout as much at least to delay his journey to Bath, if not wholly prevent it. I am persuaded that the gout is brought on or kept off at his pleasure. It was the same. It was the same when I wanted to join the Hamiltons to the lakes. And 3 years ago when I had a fancy for Beth and nothing could induce him to have gouty symptoms. Oh my God. I am pleased to find that my letter had such an effect on you, and that De Courcy is certainly your own. Let me hear from you as soon as you arrive, and in particular tell me what you mean to do with Mainwaring. It is impossible to say when I shall be able to come to you. My confinement must be great. It is such an abominable trick to be ill here instead of Bath. I can scarcely command myself at all. At Bath, his old aunts would have nursed him, and here it falls upon me. And he bears with such patience that I have not the common excuse for losing my temper. Yours ever, Alicia. Yes, darling, I hear you. Yes, darling. Oh my God. Yes, I'll be right there. I'll be right there.